was over. But here's the truth. Your dream is just beginning.
The best of the best is coming together.
The USFL and the XFL are merging to create the United Football League, the UFL.
The best spring football league in the world.
What a catch!
It's one of the most insane catches I've ever seen.
One man to beat! He's gone! 96 yards to the house! No one's gonna get him!
These players are going to play hard-nosed, intense football.
Into the end zone. Yeah! No way!
Let's ball out, baby!
One last dance. Can the Stallions win their third straight spring football title, or do the Red Hot Brahmas have something cooking of their own? Championship highlights are coming your way, Skubie.
Hey, Daniel, I got something to tell you. Dreams do come true. The first NFL chip has fallen, and it's headed straight to Detroit.
Amen.
Jake Bates is on his way to the Motor City for a chance to be kicking this far. More details coming up.
Love hearing that news, and guess what? It's Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to everyone. Shout out to all the dads out there who taught us the greatest game in the world, football. And for the last time, it is UFL Today Championship Edition, and it starts now! Woo! Welcome in to UFL Today. Tonight, my name is Daniel Dopp, joined by Skubie Mageza and our buddy Joey G. It is still past Joe's bedtime.
Way past
I gotta be honest.
I'm ready.
We're used to doing this show a little bit earlier, but with the championship being here, we're doing this show late, making sure you get all the highlights you need. And Skubie, I'm pumped. This is the final game. We've been waiting all season long to be able to get here. First off, very glad you showed up. Thank you very much.
I knew that was coming. I knew that joke was coming.
Birthday yesterday. We're shocked he's here.
Happy birthday to you.
Well,
yes.
Listen, shout out to everybody that came out for celebration yesterday. I made it because I wanted to be here with y'all.
Right.
Talking UFL football. The first inaugural season is over. We have a 3-time champion. This does not happen a lot in any sport, so it is great to see.
It is super exciting. And Joe, we always get so much good stuff from the chat. Tell me what we're going to be talking about in chat today.
I'm sure we're going to be hearing from Who Dat Chris because he's got beef with Skubie for. We're going at Skubie all night tonight. Skubie's been the Stallions. He's been skeptical about them. We want to hear what you got to say in the YouTube chat about this big game tonight.
Absolutely. Guys? Hey, without further ado, let's get into the highlights of the game we're talking about. That's why we're here.
Throw it up.
Championship. Birmingham Stallions and the San Antonio Brahmas, USFL champions, taking on the XFL conference champions. And this one starts at 11:37 in the first. Brahmas marching. Neville Clark finds John Kirkland with a big hit, Skubie.
He folded him like a lawn chair. That kind of reminds me of the Reggie Bush tackle. Like, not as bad, but form tackle.
I'll tell you what, you don't want to get it is a nice form tackle. Nice wrapping up the arms, making sure it doesn't go anywhere. All right, scoreless going into the second quarter. Brahmas with the ball just past the 25. Chase Garbers finds Marquez Stevenson. Little juke move. Little keeping down the sideline. Nice, 17 yards. San Antonio trying to move the ball down the field. Move ahead around 7 minutes later. Stallions now with the ball. Adrian Martinez. Going to do what Adrian Martinez done. Find his guy, Marlon Williams.
Get up.
Marlon Williams making things happen with his legs. Ooh, but the ball comes out, Skubie.
There's no reason to leave the ground there, buddy, and they're pointing that way. What does that mean, Dopp?
When you point, that means it's your football. San Antonio gets it back. 3:10 left in the half. But Ricky Person hurdles. Look at this juke. Pushes a stiff arm. What's happening on this play? San Antonio not even playing defense. 44 yards down the field. Ricky Person crushing it on that run.
He came out, best game of the season, had the most yards in the game, 63. Over 103 in this one.
Huge game. All right, now 3rd and 2 from the 8-yard line. Adrian Martinez finds Gary Jennings. Jennings does the rest.
Yeah.
6-0 Birmingham. They get the 2-point conversion, end the first half up 8-0, Skubie.
Also, Jennings' best game of the season. Now, in the second half, Martinez. He's going to scramble here. And you know he got your back like chiropract. Gets into the end zone using his legs. That's just worked so well all season long. Dopp, his 4th rushing touchdown that San Antonio has allowed. Now They go for 2, and that's a one-handed grab.
Wow, that was not a great pass, Skubie. Well, watch this. Reaching back behind him. Yoinks.
Yeah, showing off a little there, right?
Go gadget arms, I think.
Yeah, Stallions lead 16-0. Later on, Brahmas with the ball. Garbers connects with Kirkland. But check out the punch out here on the fumble. That's a great play. They recover, and the goalpost gets a hug.
Well, it's Father's Day, Skubie, obviously. A lot of hugs going around today.
Yeah, that is true. Gotta hug your dads, people. Stallions back in the red zone. CJ Marble takes off. 11-yard gain, but he flips, lands on his head. That looks painful.
Yeah, those scary plays when stuff like that happens, but he turned out to be okay. No harm there.
Yeah, 4th and inches here. Martinez is gonna get the QB sneak. Called short initially after some confusion, but then they looked it over and they were like, nah, it was good.
Yeah, he was definitely in there.
Yeah, 3 + 3, that's 6. Less than 2 minutes in the third. Brahmas, ball in the 3rd and 1. Garbage takes off and slides short of the first down.
What?
Look at where the marker is. He could have kept going, but decided to just give himself up. McFarland was heated with Garbers as he completely killed their momentum. So going into 4th, San Antonio faces their largest deficit of the season. Quentin Dormady replaces Garbers after that mistake, and they're hoping he gives them a spark. Dormady in the red zone, 2nd and 5, got the squad driving.
Oh, my
I
goodness.
think that's a turf monster.
Yeah, you're not supposed to run backwards if you're the quarterback, Skubie.
Yeah, not a great play, because now it's 4th and 19. Who has the 4th and 19 play in their playbook?
Probably Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, and that might be the only team.
Yeah, that's a good call, but they definitely don't have it with the San Antonio Brahmas. That will be a turnover on downs, and guess what? The Stallions get the three-peat rocking. They win it 25-0 over the San Antonio Brahmas to become the champs of the inaugural UFL season.
What a fantastic year for this Stallions team, both for the Brahmas as well, even though they lost this one. But for now, we got to bring in the UFL analyst and Dad of the Year, Sam Acho. Sam, thank you so much for joining us today on Father's Day. Appreciate you being here. Here's my first question. Everything about this game felt like when we were coming in, we're talking Stallions, right? It's all about UFL MVP Adrian Martinez. And then this defense pitches a shutout for the Stallions. When you watched this game, what about the defense stood out to you for Birmingham tonight?
Well, first thing, happy Father's Day to you, Daniel Dopp, and all the fathers out there. But second thing, what stood out to me was the dominance, not just of the entire defense, but specifically Kyahva Tezino, that linebacker who had not only 9 tackles, but 2 forced fumbles. That one peanut punch in the second quarter, that completely, not necessarily changed the momentum, but showed me that one team came to play and one team didn't. The physicality from the beginning, the team swarming the ball. San Antonio, you heard Chase Garber say, man, we got to run the ball. We heard it on the audio. San Antonio could not run the ball. The entire front four and the linebackers and the safeties were hunting from top to bottom, and that's a shout out to new defensive coordinator Corey Chamberlain. Corey Chamberlain, a 5-time champion, right? He's a champion in the XFL, champion all across the league, USFL as well. And so I just am impressed and amazed by how not only focused and dialed in, but how detailed the defense of the Stallions was.
All right, well, so let's go over to the offensive side here because, you know, Adrian Martinez, the MVP of the league, the MVP of this game, but had under 100 yards throwing, still 3 touchdowns. And Skip Holtz kept on saying, we had to be patient, we had to be patient, we had to find ways to run the ball. So overall, when you look at Martinez's performance, what do you make of it in this game?
It was up and down. It was shaky, if I'm being totally honest. And the reason you talk about have to be patient is, remember, last week, I called the game last week. Adrian Martinez got benched last week. He had multiple turnovers. And then the week before, he had 5 sacks. And so you're looking at, okay, I got to be patient. Adrian Martinez, you have to do what's called. And so sometimes we saw that, sometimes we didn't. And so you heard Skip Holtz coaching, even when they were up by 25 points in the fourth quarter. Skip Holtz is still trying to coach Adrian Martinez, teach him how to be patient, lean on the run game, lean on the offensive line. But for me, when I hear patience, I see, man, I don't want to go back to how we were the last 2 weeks where it was struggles at the quarterback play.
Yeah, when you look at this, like, I was a little bit surprised, and Skubie and I talked about this. When you come into halftime and you're only up 8-0, is there a chance that maybe you make that same kind of a move, put Matt Corral in to spark a little bit of energy there? Obviously, stuck with Adrian Martinez and things worked out. Part of that, though, Sam, is on the other side of the ball. I want to talk about San Antonio for a minute because they just looked undisciplined. They looked unprepared. It felt like Chase Garbers left a couple of plays on the field that really hurt his team. I want to ask you, what went wrong for San Antonio? And you can't say everything.
Well, I'll say this. The moment seemed too big for San Antonio. What do I mean by that? Moment being too big. Okay, you saw some costly penalties. The clock runs out, right? 3, 2, 1. Okay, you got to call a timeout. Defense fighting for no reason after a punt. And you saw Chase Garbers not only slide short once, I think he slid short earlier in the game that the ref called it a first down. So that's kind of like, okay, man, the moment can't be that big. On that play, Garbers, you have to go and get that first down. That's why you see Anthony McFarland so upset. You saw drop passes as well. On that 4th and 19 in the end zone, that was a drop pass. It bounced off the receiver's chest. And so what happened for one team, moment being too big, did not happen for the other in Birmingham. They were ready for this. That's that championship DNA that people talk about.
Yeah, we had Tom on last week, and he kind of felt like San Antonio had the momentum coming into this game, and that momentum was pretty shut down. And the moment just wasn't big for Skip Holtz, right? And they've done this over and over and over again. So explain to us how difficult it is for someone to not just win a championship 3 times, but to do it with 3 different starters at the quarterback position, because that's unprecedented.
And 3 years in a row. I got a chance to call the last 2 games for the Birmingham Stallions. So Skip Holtz, we had meetings with them the last several weeks. I actually went and watched their practice 2 weeks ago as they were getting ready for their Week 10 game. And some things stood out. The first thing that stood out was Skip Holtz's presence, not even of mind, just his presence. At practice, I was talking to him, and he had this kind of calming presence about him. And they would go on, and they would win that game, right? They had just lost to San Antonio. They'd go on, they'd beat Michigan. And then we interviewed him again. We said, hey, what do you want people to know about this team? And he said, man, I want the world to know how resilient this team is. I want everyone to know how together this team is, how much they care about one another. He said it's hard to win 3 championships back to back to back, no matter what level you're at. And he's done it with 3 different types of teams. And so for me, I'm impressed by Skip Holtz's calm demeanor, but also his team's togetherness and their resilience based off hearing what he said. That was, mind you, right after a loss. There was no fret, and there was no worry. There was no fear.
Yeah, I'm totally with you on that, and watching him come out of those 2 games. Adrian Martinez struggled last week, still fought through a huge decision, obviously, in putting Matt Corral in. I mean, this moment, you talk about the moment being too big for some people. It was not too big for Skip Holtz in any way, shape, or form. I got one last question for you, Sam Acho. This was my first time covering the UFL. This was my first year. I know that you've been doing this spring football for a minute. My question for you is, out of this entire season, there were so many fun moments. Did you ever get a chance to be a part of the beer snake? Please tell me the answer was yes.
I got some bad news for you. The answer is no. So my first year covering UFL, it was XFL last year, I had no games in D.C. I don't think I had D.C. one time. I had every other team. San Antonio, Seattle Sea Dragons, right? I was in Seattle probably 3 of the first 5 weeks, St. Louis, and I didn't have D.C. Now this year I called D.C. one time, and then I was like, man, I'm going to go back into the season, but they ended up changing the schedule, ended up having that Birmingham Stallions game. And so I did not experience the beer snake. I saw it on TV like everybody else.
All right. So just tell us your favorite moment from the season then, because you were in the trenches.
Yes.
You got to see the fans, talk to players, talk to coaches, go to practices. Any favorite moments that you can share with us from this season?
My favorite moment, Skubie, was week 1. We were calling the San Antonio game. They might have been playing St. Louis, week 1 or week 2, and they had that fake punt. Remember that fake punt?
Yeah.
It was like a fake field goal looking thing. And then Brad Wing threw it to Alex Millette. He scores the touch. Alex Millette, who's a center, by the way, scores a touchdown. None of us expected it. And the reason why it's my favorite is this. I had gone to San Antonio's practice that week. I was there in the heat watching all the stuff, and I didn't see that play. I'm thinking, okay, what happened? I didn't see the play. Well, come to find out, I talked to their special teams coordinator, Peyton Pardee. He said, dude, we meant to practice that play when you were there, but we didn't because their kicker, Donald Delahaye, right, destroying, he kept on nailing 40, 50, and 60-yard field goals, so that special teams period ended up being him kicking field goals. They wanted him to miss that so they can go to practice their fake. And so the long story short, just the stuff that you don't expect at the UFL, and just some of the cool stuff that you always see.
We didn't even get to see Destroying this year. I mean, he was one of the guys we were most excited about coming into the UFL. We barely got to see him.
Big tackle.
Yeah.
He had the big tackle.
Huge tackle.
Took him out. Yeah, it took his season out.
Bad form.
That's exactly, yes. You want to make better tackles if you are a kicker or a punter there. Hey, Sam, thank you so much for joining us, man. This was an awesome season, and especially today on Father's Day, staying up so late. We appreciate you, dude. We're going to let you go. Thank you very much. Have a great night, dude.
Peace out, Sam.
Thanks,
Love you, brother.
Hey.
Awesome. Love you guys. Appreciate it. Happy Father's Day, everybody.
Joe, tell me what's going on in chat then. Because right now, we got a lot going on still. I mean, this is not the end of the show. I know that chat stays strong all the way to the end.
Listen, I said it off the top. Who that Chris wants Skubie. He wants him. And look, he said, who that Chris at the beginning of the show, he goes, Skubie Mageza. Looks like we did it again. He said,
Throw your threes up, Chris.
Happy belated D-Day, Skubie. Let's see that bird chest. Matter of fact, Skubie, acknowledge us is what he's saying. He's going crazy right now. Hey,
hold on, we still got a whole show to go.
Backstory for what who that Chris is saying. He had mentioned last week that Skubie should rip his shirt off like the Stallions fans do if the Stallions won tonight. But listen, we're not going to put him in that spot right now. You know, we still got another 15, 20 minutes to go. Maybe things change by then.
Not right now. Maybe towards the end of the show. Let me ask you this, Skubie, while we have a few minutes. We just had this big conversation with Sam. Was there anything that stood out to you this year that was maybe one of your favorite plays or things that you'd look at this season that you would definitely want to see again next year? Something that happened in the UFL?
I definitely want to be, okay, so I want to be able to see more fakes. I love the fakes just the same way that Sam talked about, especially on fourth down. And then I want to continue to see these players also kind of, you know, really stick with what they already know. Because we saw some players kind of step out of what we're used to. The Jay Sternberger today just kind of doing too much. Donald Delahaye making tackles that he shouldn't be making. So I want to see players on the field. I want to see more fakes. I just want to see more parity. I love parity in the league.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, another thing that I love right now, I love defensive players. Especially big defensive players that show up for their team when they need it most. Kyahva Tezino joins us today on UFL Today.
Oh, hey,
what up, baby?
Oh, hold on now.
Love that.
Hold on now.
Buff that thing, baby.
This was going to be the first question. How are we celebrating today, baby?
Oh, man, we celebrating with a lot of excitement, man. We actually in the locker room right now. I'm going to give y'all an authentic view right now. But, hey, we just excited, man. We celebrate with a lot of passion, a lot of love. And it's just great right now.
All right, so I saw on the broadcast you said that you wanted to meet Tom Brady, and if you just got to shake his hand, you might be fangirling a little bit. You get some of that goatness rubbed off on you. Were you able to shake Tom Brady's hand and have an interaction with him?
I don't know if you guys can see, but like on the TV, I jumped in the front of the stage just to get up there and shake his hand. I was determined to shake his hand.
Dude. They were so good. You were awesome today, man. 9 tackles, 2 forced fumbles. I just want to ask you, when you look back at this game and all the things that you and your teammates did, what was it that you were able to do to pitch a shutout, the first shutout in the UFL this season?
I mean, I say it's just a team effort. It's just, man, I don't even know what to say. I mean, it's a team effort. The guys bought into what we was preaching these practices upon going to the championship. I mean, and they beat us the first time, but we called it a fluke, and we said, you know, it ain't gonna happen the second time. So we went out there and did what we had to do, and you know, we got the dub, man. Now we in the locker room, cigars up, man.
Hey,
yes,
that's right. Man.
Yes,
we excited.
Pinky's out too. You know the deal. He got me a little. Hey, there we go. Hold on. Who's that yelling at you in the background over there?
Oh, that was my boy Eli, man, one of the linebackers, man. He excited for us, man. We all excited up in here. You know, I'm gonna give him a little shout. Look here.
Hey, man, we got the 3P. I'm proud of my boy Tez, man.
Hey,
so
real
much
quick.
proud of him, we got a 3P.
And I have both of y'all for us because I watched your interview at the beginning of the season. You said one of your goals was to be Defensive Player of the Year. Now, that didn't necessarily happen. However, you ended up being the Defensive Player of this game.
Heck yeah.
Speak to us about how much that means to you to be able to get that, and just the journey, man, of getting to this point and possibly getting a shot at the NFL.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. I was kind of upset that I didn't get that award, or I wasn't even all USFL. So you know, I had a board at my house, and I had all those goals written down. I erased every single one of them. I said, you know what? Championship, defensive player of the game.
That's
and I
real.
made sure I went out there and I made that happen. So, you know, quite detour in the goals, but you know, we got this one, so it don't even matter no more.
That's right. That's right. Love to hear that. I'll tell you what, doesn't make a difference if you didn't get it for the season. You got so much good tape from this game, bringing home the defensive player of the game, dude. You absolutely crushed it. Shout out to you and your teammates for the UFL Championship, man. Good luck, and go celebrate with your teammates. We'll stop keeping you here. Go have some fun with all your dudes.
Pop bottles.
Thank you, guys.
Pop
I appreciate
bottles.
it. Hey, 3P, man. Thank you, guys.
Hey.
All love, man. Thank you.
Love it. Love it.
That was awesome.
Skubie, a three-peat. I mean, listen, even the players know it. It is so difficult to do a three-peat in any sport across the board regardless. The idea that the Stallions, and we talked about this with Sam, have had a coach that have been able to lead them to the promised land over and over and over. That leadership, it just can't be overstated when it comes to having a guy that can help a group of men be able to get to this point in a team game.
And you heard Sam say it, and you've heard Holt say it. This team is together, right?
Yep.
And through my career of covering sports and interviewing teams that have won championships, and this goes all the way from the high school to the college and professional level, there is always one similar theme, and that's these guys love each other. These guys play for each other. And it's hard to find that anywhere. And the thing that makes the UFL special in spring football, which is why Skip Holt has gone on to say this is the most fun that he's ever had with a job, is this is all about football with these guys. It's not about the money. It's not about the scholarship. It's just for the love of the game. And that right there, what we saw, was the purest form of it.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, it's a dream come true for a bunch of these guys to be able to get to this point, a three-peat in the spring football situation, here win a championship. Another dream that came true, I just want to say this. I got to watch a guy that I've been rooting for all season long. I don't want to say I spoke it into existence.
Friend of the show.
But maybe friend of the show, Jake Bates, who signed a deal with the Lions. I just want to show a quick little flashback of some of the Jake Bates love we've been giving him all season long.
Mystic Mac.
Kickers love kicking at Ford Field. If it was not for that field goal, longest in UFL history, obviously, would have been the second longest in NFL history since 1960, except for Justin Tucker, who also kicked an NFL long at Ford Field as well. So if you're a kicker, that's where you want to be kicking field goals, my friend. I'm telling you. I got to tell you, I went to NFLshop.com. Lions could use a kicker. Yeah. And I'm telling you right now, Jake, this jersey looks pretty good. I'll tell you what, I couldn't go out right now and get a Jake Bates jersey myself. But
not yet.
Not yet, but I was pumped after seeing that Adam Schefter said Jake Bates signed a 2-year deal with my Detroit Lions. He kicked 360-yarders this year, Skubie, 3 of them inside Ford Field. If you remember me saying the Lions play 14 of their 17 games indoor this year.
That was my favorite nugget you had
of the whole season.
And I didn't have a Jake Bates jersey. It wasn't available, so I went out and made one myself. Nobody's going to get a Jake Bates Lion jersey before me. Shout out Jake Bates. Pumped about this. I could be more excited.
Time out. So it was a number 33, which has become
that's 38.
Number 38. All right. And we got
Come on, there's nothing wrong with that.
Bates written on the back.
That's about as authentic as it gets.
Only on UFL Today. Has the chat said anything about this? Because I love this, Dopp.
Thank you.
I mean, even the shoulder. We got the shoulder with the.
Yeah.
Come on, man. That's
all in.
tight, my boy. That's tight.
The first of hopefully many players to be able to get a camp invite or get signed by teams. But we talked about Jake a bunch, right? We didn't think that special teamers necessarily were going to be one of the stories outside of destroying within the UFL. Jake Bates came in and made a bunch of storylines. Hopefully he, along with a bunch of other players, are getting camp invites for us to see them play and wear jerseys like this come Sunday.
And it is spot on because you've said this before. In a league where there is no extra point kicking, right? Kicking itself is kind of become a little bit more irrelevant in this league.
Yep.
But the player that we all talked about that gets the first opportunity at achieving his dreams is a kicker. The UFL, a league of parity, and that's why I continue to say it.
Love
we
it.
had a plus 1,200 team. We'll talk about that more.
Yeah, we'll save it.
But I love it. I love it all.
Love it.
Hey, Steve.
It's ready to get cooking.
Steve Thorne wants to know where he could buy that jersey.
I'll tell you what, DanielDopp.com, you can eBay me for it. All right, now. No way, I'm not selling this. It's a one of a kind. One of one.
At DanielDopp.com.
That's right. I don't think that's a website. I should probably reserve that before anything happens there. All right, before we go, I want to go around and ask this question because you had asked it to Sam. I kind of briefly asked you a little earlier in the show. I want to talk about some of our favorite moments from the UFL because it's a different league, right? Spring football is different than the NFL, and they do things a little bit differently than what we see within NFL football. So for me, I want to start 4th and 12.
Oh, yeah.
The 4th and 12 play was freaking awesome.
I love
the
it.
idea that you get rid of the onside kick. It gives you a 4th and 12 from the 28-yard line. If you complete it, you get to keep the ball and keep moving down the sideline. This is what it's all about. It makes more excitement in the game.
Yeah.
More chances to score towards the end of the game. How many times, Skubie, did we think we saw a game wrapping up just to find out a team completes a 4th and 12, has a chance to move down the field and get in the end zone again? I love this play, and I think it made spring football more exciting as a result.
Yeah, 100%, because it's really never over until it's over with
Absolutely.
spring football. As a fan, you're watching, you're like, okay, they can get 6 and then 3, so that'll be 9, and then they can get a 4th and 12 and keep the drive going. And there's so many more variables that makes the game interesting. I said this last year during the XFL season that the final 2 minutes in spring football is the best final 2 minutes.
Absolutely. Yeah, without question. Without question. All right. Skubie, you kind of gave us a little preview of your favorite thing using the word parody. Why is that your favorite thing in the UFL? What do you mean by that?
Because just look at it, people, at how the playoffs ended. The San Antonio Brahmas, plus 1,200 to win the championship. The Michigan Panthers, plus 1,200 to win the championship. But somehow, some way, they both ended up in the playoff. You can look at the preseason numbers, at the preseason whatevers. With spring football, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you think because The Rock runs this league. And when it goes down like the WWE, anything can happen. So you better smell what the UFL is cooking, and that is parody in a pot of who the heck knows.
We said this before the show. Any other professional sports league that has a team with the highest odds at the bottom of the list has almost zero chance of making the playoffs. The fact that we had 2 of them here, Skubie, is amazing and speaks exactly to
Yeah,
incredible.
100%.
All right,
Love it.
Joe, give me what you got here.
Can you guess?
Probably the shirtless Stallions fans.
I mean, they're in there, but I love the team traditions. The team traditions, such as the bear snake, the shirtless Stallions, Caw is law.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just the coolest thing about watching UFL games is what happens not necessarily in between the lines, but outside the lines.
Yeah, in the stands.
We love the stands. Of course, we saw the moment where HD at the end of the season he was within the beer snake. He was stacking it up in the bleachers. That is the most fun part to me, at least. Obviously, the game is incredible. The players are amazing. The storylines are even better. But nothing like a beer snake on a Sunday, baby.
That's right. I love your outside the lines. We should think of a show that we could do around that title.
Yeah, maybe even in the studio. That would make sense too.
Yeah, like a little outside the lines thing. That'd be sweet.
Yeah.
Hey, speaking of another thing that we love, we want to say Happy Father's Day to all of the amazing fathers out there. We got a bunch of guys up on the screen from everybody that works with us. Skubie.
Gosh, my dad.
Swag right
There's a bunch of them.
Right now, my dad is literally at the airport about to take off to Africa to open up 2 churches over there.
Amen.
My dad is my motivator. He is my spiritual guide, and he's pretty much my everything and my best friend. So happy Father's Day to my dad and all the dads that are up here because they truly, truly are our leaders, right?
Yeah. Love being able to have guys to be able to celebrate like this. And I know there's a lot of people.
I've never seen a picture of your dad until now.
Oh my gosh. Where do you think I learned my beard from?
The beard. This is awesome.
I got the beard and the hair from my pop. That's what
you
it's all
guys have
about.
like the same hairstyle in that picture.
That's fantastic. I love being able to see everybody's dad, my father-in-law, and I do want to say this. Q, one of our media operators, I guess he's a Packers fan, but his dad is a 49ers fan. Shout out to anybody that has 2 different fandoms in their home and still loves each other because that's not always easy. Yeah. But happy Father's Day to everyone. And guys, this is going to do it.
That's it.
This is the end of it.
All right.
This was the very first UFL season. We doing it, Skubie? All right. We love you guys. It's been so much fun.
Take your shirt off, Joe. Hey,
on behalf of UFL Today,
I want to keep my
and the
job.
Stallions,
I want to keep my job.
shout out to Birmingham and all the fans that showed up.
take it off.
We wish we had a beer
Nobody wants to see me.
Congratulations, Stallions fans. We'll see you next year on UFL Today.
Let's go. Let's go.